Hi guys, welcome to the HyperDoc / introduction video to your computer math class. For those of you guys who do not know me, I am Mr. Park. I am the other computer math teacher along with Mr. Hollingsworth. For those of you guys who are my own students, welcome back. It's been a while. Hope you've been staying safe, hope you've been practicing social distancing, doing all that good stuff there, and not being dumb like the Miami kids. Anyways, so let's kind of roll through a little bit. This might be the first block that you have where you're kind of going through this online school business where we're doing everything through Google Classroom, online with Google Docs, or in this case, what we call a HyperDoc. So just to clarify real quick, HyperDocs are simply just a Google Doc with a bunch of like hyperlinks, hence the name HyperDoc. This one, there'll be a couple hyperlinks that you'll see here, so go ahead and just take a quick look at that. Now, looking at my screen here, this is going to be the first topic we're going to do for review for the next week, object-oriented programming, just kind of going back to the basics of what we did back from quarter 1 and quarter 2. So a couple things we need to start with is digital organization. Please make sure that when you get this document, you first click File, make copy, and save it into your drive. So, for example, I'm going to open up my drive just so you guys see an example of what's going on inside here. So make sure you have your computer math folder. Mine is going to be inside of my school year here. So I'm going to type computer math and make sure you make a new one here. Make a new folder and call it continuity of education. You're going to want to do that for now because we're not sure how long we're going to do this for, but just for the sake of organization and ease, make sure you go ahead and do that. And once you have that set, make sure you make a copy into that folder as such. Okay. So once you have that down, take a quick scan through this HyperDoc here. We have it set up where you have the entire week within this one document. So you see that day 1, got a little quote from Steve Jobs. Then you'll notice once we get to this part and apply, it is now in day 2. So you'll see that via the math, this should be a quick like 1 to 2 minute read. This is going to be 20 minutes roughly, and this is going to be 10 minutes. So roughly about 30 minutes for each day. That is to say though, if you finish early, you can continue on. And if you need to spend a bit more time on it, don't feel too rushed, don't feel too pressured by doing that. But it is a good pace to go through so that you finish this by the end of the week. Okay, so each day has slightly different things. Some days you might need to share. On days 3, 4, and 5, you'll need to be reflecting. So please make sure you read through this and go back to previous sections as needed. And finally, there's the extension for those who you guys want to keep going past that, should you finish early. I know some of you guys will, not everyone will, but again, this is just to provide some differentiation of people at different speeds and paces. Okay, now going back, second thing I want to talk about is CodeHS. Everything we will do for next week will be based on CodeHS, and thankfully they've made the pro version free, so it makes it a lot easier for Mr. Hollingsworth and I to use. So that's going to start coming into play around, I believe, day 2. Yep, there's going to be options here you guys can pick. So let me walk you through how you get there. In LCPS Go, mine's going to be a lot more cluttered than yours because I'm a teacher, but on top right, go ahead and type in CodeHS, and you'll notice that icon appears. When you click on that, make sure you sign in with your Google account. By this point, all of you should be within your respective classes, either in Mr. Hollingsworth's classes or in my classes. All right, now I'm going to switch gears here as a student. You won't have this option because you're not a teacher, but regardless, I'm just going to pretend like I'm one of you all. I click Comp Math Block 2. This is just a sample one. Block 2, folks, again, it's going to be a little bit different when you actually get there. When you click on that, it will pop up a whole bunch of topics within our computer science class here. So if we go back to the assignment list, if I go back to my HyperDoc here, let's just say, hey, I want to do 3.1 Java methods. 3 referring to the chapter, 1 referring to the section. So if you take a look here, each of these topics or the units have numbers next to them. I wanted to pick Unit 3 and the first section, so it's going to be called Methods, which makes sense. If I go back here, it says Java Methods. Okay, let's take a look. Well, look at that, Java Methods. You'll notice that most of these components here have a video lesson. They have a sort of multiple choice or short answer check, and then they follow with some sort of coding example here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to show you just to relate for those guys who want a little bit of familiarity here. You want to go through this linearly, but just to skip around for a hot second. You will notice this looks kind of similar to CodingBat. The reason why I say CodingBat looks a little bit more archaic, but what you'll notice is that you'll have the class, but take a look here, and I hope you notice what is missing from what we've normally done in our labs. You notice that we have methods, like public void run, parentheses, that's a method, private void print line break, that's a method. There's no main method, and this is where I'm going to say it's similar to CodingBat. There is no main method for you to utilize. everything here is going to be based off of the the CodeHS mainframe. So when you run this code, it's going to pop up here. I'm actually not quite sure if we did this correctly, but when you run through it here, it's going to show you what's going to happen, and you may need to save it and continue on from here. Here's where I'm going to have you guys play around with it, give it a shot, have some fun with it, and see how things go. Again, going back here, please make sure you read the directions. Please take the reflection seriously. It's hard for us to really enforce anything at this point, given that at the moment grades are not technically posted for these assignments. However, for a lot of you wanting to move on to AP Comp Sci, you're going to want to make sure you have this down pat and make sure you're squared away. So please take the time that you need to, take this seriously, and hope that you guys actually are taking this to the degree that you need to for keeping up not on just the old stuff, but hopefully getting you guys ready for the new stuff as well. For those guys curious about whether we'll continue doing Pong, I guess this is more catered to Mr. Park's class. Mr. Hollingsworth, I think your class also started this as well. But for the Pong, that is going to be on hold until we get further direction on what we're doing. We may stay on CodeHS. We may try to continue doing Pong. We will see. Just keep your eyes out for that and hope that this at least gets you guys started for the next week.